Welcome back, so soon, to the Void Compass. Today I want to talk about your suffering and how it serves a deeper purpose, how it is not a mistake, how it is not useless in nature, and how it was never going to be avoided. To understand this, I will start off by saying that the process of spiritual awakening, while it is always directed and geared towards one location, if there is such a thing, there is only one destination of spiritual awakening, which is the divine. Recognizing oneself as a fractal of the divine, as an integral piece of God, having a human experience for the purpose of learning through this unique human perspective, through this physicalized 3D reality. While that is always the destination of spiritual awakening, there is far more nuance and subtlety in the various paths that lead to that same destination. There are seemingly two main paths that I have encountered, and there may be more, but I only speak of my own experience, as that is what I know. I do not speak theoretically. Anything I say will be rooted in some form of my own experience, as that is what I can speak on and what I am intimately acquainted with. But there seem to be two pathways. One is the more non-dual pathway, where the person in question is experiencing more of a direct approach to recognizing themselves as the divine. They start recognizing more and more that they are not the mind, and they are able to transcend much of the human experience while still remaining very present. There is also another pathway that myself and many of you are on, which is a pathway that, while still leading to the divine, as all pathways do, it takes you through much more of the underworld of the human experience, where you dive into the depths, where there is much to transmute, where you have potentially had a very difficult upbringing and have experienced much trauma, where there is much distortion in your energetic field, and you end up spending a very large portion of your experience diving extremely deep, looking for answers, dealing with internal adversity, feelings of not being good enough, feelings of abandonment, feelings of being lost and confused, the path of the mystic without a map. You feel out of place in everyday 3D reality. And as much as you may like to lead an average life and fit in, so to speak, you find it increasingly difficult to do so. It can feel very isolating and very lonely. This path is further exacerbated with certain experiences that can intensify that awakening. Again, many of you here have also experienced that too. So the question becomes, well, why? Is one pathway better than the other? The quick answer to that is absolutely no. Every path has a significant purpose. And while I am not on the entirely non-dual pathway, and I am mostly on this deeper, deep dive pathway of spiritual awakening, I can therefore say that this experience of diving deep, of doing the transmutational work required to alleviate that suffering, is not just a personal, individual process. There is an entirely other worldly element to all of this, which is you are not only transmuting grief, pain, abandonment, fear for yourself, you are doing so for the collective. Yes, we are in our self-contained universes, but we are also part of a collective of souls that are incarnated here at this time in human history, at this cusp of great energetic expansion, of moving from a third density civilization to a fourth density one. Yes, you are a light bearer. You are a soul who comes in to guide, to show, to embody. But you are also here to transmute density. That is part of your contract with this experience. And you knew this before coming in. So every time the mind asks, well, why me? Why must I suffer in this manner? Why must I feel this way perpetually? This is part of the role you agreed to take on. And it also doesn't mean that you will suffer perpetually, or you will never have the experiences you wish to have. But it does mean that this is, yes, part of your path. Because through this depth and through this deepest of work, this profound healing, you are increasing your capacity to not only hold space for others during their healing and having that perspective that can only be gained through deep suffering, but you are also laying down the energetic foundations for a new way of being. This new earth that I've spoken of in my past 2 community posts. This new earth energy. You are doing the deep collective transmutational work required, while also simultaneously bringing in increasing amounts of light energy and grounding that into the Earth's foundational grid. Now, I understand some of these concepts may seem quite floaty or sensational. And you don't have to buy into everything I'm saying. I'm simply sharing my perspective. I'm trying to help you see that the suffering you're going through is not without merit. It's not accidental, and it's not something you could have avoided. You are always going to go through what you are going through now. You are designed to not only be a transmuter of density into light, but a conduit to receive higher frequency energy and unconditional love, and to ground it here into this world. And furthermore, you act as a transmitter. You are placed in the perfect location around the exact set of people you need to be around to transmit this frequency. You are doing so even if you are unconscious of it. But your very presence serves that purpose. So while you may be carrying the burden of feeling not good enough, lost, confused, abandoned, feeling like you're failing at your life purpose, by simply existing, you are shifting frequencies and you are affecting people in ways that your mind could never fully grasp. There is a much grander purpose to your experience than solely your individual life experience. There is so much more. And I'm attempting to give you some perspective. So when I ask you to revert back to the question of, soul, what will you have me do? There is a pretext to this. You are part of something so much larger than your individual experience. And yes, it is very challenging at times. You don't need me to tell you that. We take on so much more density than the average person. That is why we suffer so much more. We have agreed to carry so much more on our backs because we knew at the soul level that we were strong enough and conscious enough to complete this work. That is why we are here. And so we continue. We dive deep into ourselves and we embody our soul as much as we can. We embody the frequencies of unconditional love and grace as much as we can with our own internal world and then with others. You may find yourself in walks of life that you would prefer to not be in. You might be trying to shift career or shift location. Your living situation might not be to your preference, but make no mistake, soul has designed it that way. And while you are making those shifts, you are still in that location or around those people. Those are soul contracts and an opportunity for you to ground that higher frequency energy into your surroundings, in your interpersonal relationships. That is why I said in my last video, you can acknowledge your preferences, but don't be attached to them. Your soul knows what it's doing. It knows when to bring you in and when to take you out, and when to move you and when to shift you, and who to bring in and who to take out. That is not up to you. Come back to that place of surrender. And know that this is also part of the process. Everything to be concerned with is here, now, in this present moment. Don't worry about where you will be in 2 years from now, or in 1 month from now, or who you will be with. Simply come back to, soul, what will you have me do right now? Wait for the answers. Your higher self communicates to you through the frequency of inspiration and excitement and passion. And it will always guide you unerringly towards the path. There's always a hand reaching out to you. And sometimes you won't feel that. You will feel deep density surfacing within you. Good. Sit with it. Acknowledge it. This is why you're here. Love it. Heal it for yourself and the collective that you came here to assist. If you need assistance with this process, healing, deep diving, deconstructing false limiting beliefs about yourself, addressing trauma that is deeply embedded within your field, reach out to me and I'd be happy to help you in a one-to-one session. All the information is in the video description, as it always is. But I'm going to leave it here, and I will see you next time on the Void Compass with more.